Hey everyone, and welcome back. First off, I'd like to thank everyone who's been liking, subscribing, and sharing all of my content. You guys rule, and I appreciate the constant love and support that I'm always receiving. Today's video is going to be about Elastos. This is a topic that I've wanted to cover for a while, but it was a little bit intimidating because it seemed like it was a very in-depth project, and I just wanted to make sure that I did it justice. My usual disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. All investments have inherent risk. Please do your own research. In the spirit of transparency, I do hold some Elastos. The market has been pretty crummy lately, and I used that opportunity to buy some. A little reminder, I will be going to the CryptoCandor in Philly in August, hence the t-shirt. There's actually a discount code if you want to get tickets. It's CryptoCandor 45, and you'll get the tickets for $45. Disclaimer again, I do receive some small percentage of the sales, but I'm mostly obviously sharing because I'd like to meet people and also because it's a discounted code. One final reminder, you can also go on my website if you'd like to buy some of my merch. I've got t-shirts and stuff of that nature. And also if you want to support the channel, you can become one of my patrons. As usual, I will leave all the links in the description down below. And a final point to mention, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I've been putting out content pretty frequently, and I'd hate for you guys to miss any of it. Let's get started with the project history. Elastos began as the brainchild of co-founder Rong Chen, all the way back in 2000 when he left Microsoft in the US to return to China. Although the platform initially had no blockchain ties, Rong still envisioned a platform in which its apps and services didn't directly have to connect to the internet. It wasn't until June 2017 that Jihan Wu, the CEO of Bitmain, became an angel investor, and the project began to really take shape of the blockchain-powered platform that it is today. Elastos states that it is a safe and reliable internet of the future, built utilizing the blockchain. Decentralized applications are detached from the internet while also permitting full scalability to billions of users. Elastos will enable a generation of wealth through ownership and exchange of your data and digital assets. Rong, the founder of Elastos, was a former senior software engineer at Microsoft. He worked for Microsoft from like 1992 to 2000. After working on an operating system with Microsoft, he moved back to China to run his own company. He wanted to build the Elastos operating system from the ground up. The project went through some iterations, but ultimately Rong saw blockchain as a way to create what he was dreaming up for Elastos, and that brought us to today. So the project has been about 18 years in the making. Next is the ICO. Elastos never had a formal ICO. Instead, they held a private sale in August 2017 in China, with the price being 1 BTC to 1500 ELA. And there was a public sale open to the whole world apart from China, including the US, which is obviously not very common. And that was through January 18th through January 24th of 2018. The price was 1 Bitcoin per 800 ELA. In the private sale, 4,000 Bitcoin were raised in exchange for 6 million ELA. And in the public sale, another 2,500 Bitcoin in exchange for 2 million ELA. 5 million ELA were sold to angel investors, amongst were the prominent names like Jihan Wu and Da Hongfei and Hu Boi. The current circulating supply is 5.2 million, and the total supply is 33.6 million. Next is technology. Elastos main chain officially launched in December 2017. The project is a 4% inflation year to year, and every time an ELA block is mined, the reward is distributed equally among the miners and the stakers. Elastos consists of 4 pillars that enable the network separation and platform flexibility. These pillars are the blockchain, the runtime, the carrier, and the SDK, or the software development kit. Let's start with the blockchain. Elastos is currently a proof-of-work coin, but will be moving to a hybrid proof-of-work delegated proof-of-stake protocol in December of 2018. The Elastos blockchain separates app functionality between the main chain and the side chains for each application. The main chain takes care of the basic transactions and the transfer payments, while each side chain executes the dApp smart contracts. The side chains have a few other advantages as well. As a user, you can customize your own consensus mechanism on each sidechain and also distribute sidechain tokens. On top of that, users can transfer these tokens across sidechains to the main chain. Sidechains will serve many different purposes and will also allow people to monetize their digital assets and value that they contribute. People can tokenize content they've created to ensure property rights through the Elastos blockchain, making it possible for anyone to directly get rewarded for their property, skills, and assets. Elastos says it wants to resolve some of the major issues that we see with current blockchain tech, that being scalability, ownership, bugs, throughput speeds, cost, flexibility, and security. Their next pillar is the Elastos runtime. The runtime system of Elastos is designed to support the execution of applications created on the platform. Elastos wants to become an entirely new internet, not just an application. The Elastos network will be a web of dApps. Instead of going to a website, you're going to go to an app via the Elastos platform. dApps on Elastos are forced to never connect directly to the internet. Instead, they only interact with the Elastos runtime, which serves as the Elastos middle layer. This process ensures a a far more secure use of the internet because nothing's connecting directly to the internet. The Elastos runtime runs on any mobile device or PC, making the Elastos Smart Web accessible for anyone on any device. The third pillar is the Elastos Carrier. The Elastos Carrier is the project's decentralized peer-to-peer network. Similar to other decentralized internet projects, you're able to rent out your computational power and storage capabilities to other users. Because of its peer-to-peer nature, the Elastos Carrier is protected from two of the most common internet attacks that we see today. Those are DDoS and man-in-the-middle attacks. The final pillar is the Elastos SDK. SDKs, or software development kits, are created to make it a whole lot easier for developers to create applications on any given operating system. Android has an SDK, as does iOS, Windows, and a whole range of other operating systems. The Elastos SDK connects with applications on the smart web, which is especially beneficial for non-Elastos apps. Using the SDK, these applications can receive their ID and access the smart web without having to use the Elastos virtual machine. Other important points to mention: Elastos offers integration capabilities with a host of other platforms and allows for programming using a wide variety of languages including Java, HTML, C, and C++. In their white paper, I found a little explain like I'm 5 for what Elastos is compared to, say, Bitcoin and ETH. So Bitcoin is a trustworthy ledger. Ethereum is a trustworthy ledger and smart contracts. Elastos is a trustworthy ledger, smart contracts, monetized dApps, and digital assets. That brings us to present day. Currently, Elastos sits at number 87 on LiveCoinWatch and has a market cap value of $104 million. If you're interested in buying Elastos, you can only get it on Huobi and BCEX. They have their own blockchain, and they also have a web wallet that can be used to store your ELA off an exchange. Elastos and NEO are two projects that you hear going hand in hand as of lately. So I'd like to clear up a little misconception that I myself actually fell victim to. For whatever reason, people think Elastos is built on the NEO platform, which is not true. Elastos has its own blockchain and it has not been a NEP5 token. Da-Heng Fei of NEO and Jihan Wu of Bitmain are both early investors and advisors to Elastos. This is a big deal because they're both very powerful men. Jihan Wu was ranked one of the most 10 influential figures in blockchain as of CoinDesk in 2017. Jihan pitched the idea of developing ASICs chips for Bitcoin mining back in 2013, and that's how Bitmain was created. And Bitmain has committed to redirecting their hashing power from Bitcoin mining to Elastos. The date for this isn't set, but it's in the works. Elastos also works together with NEO and Ontology on KYC standards and digital asset identity protocols. Let's talk about their partnerships a little bit. On May 25th of this year, the Elastos team presented their partnership with WeatherBlock. WeatherBlock is a blockchain-based startup that is creating a platform for peer-to-peer exchange of weather data, and they plan to integrate into the Elastos ecosystem. Then on May 26th, Elastos announced two new collaborations. First, they announced a partnership with BitGame, a startup that's creating an exchange platform for blockchain-based games. The cooperation will also strengthen a previous partnership with HashWorld, a blockchain game that's been allowing users to learn the blockchain tech while also being able to earn real-world cryptocurrencies. And they also partnered with Reactor, an independent game that's fighting against piracy. There are more partnerships, such as the one with the Chinese automotive industry and Zappia, a file-sharing app with more than 500 million registered users. Check the Elastos Medium blog for more information on that and all of their other partnerships. What's the purpose of the coin? The ELA coin will be used for a multitude of functions on the platform, which is a positive thing because it's going to create a natural demand for the coin. ELA will be used to pay for Elastos-based domain names for dApps, usernames, Elastos storage service, and issuing tokenized content, which could be music, books, or videos. This is going to allow content creators of all kinds to truly own what it is that they are creating. Not to mention it creates a secondary market for people who have purchased their assets and then can now sell them within the Elastos ecosystem a second time. Like a lot of platforms out there, Elastos holders will also get to participate in airdrops when new projects build on the Elastos platform. Once merge mining is active, Elastos will have more than 50% of the total Bitcoin hash power from the beginning of the public mining. 30% of the block rewards will go to the Elastos Foundation, and then 70% will go to the miners, but that's only for the first 2 years. The block rewards currently are 5 ELA. There's a transaction in every block with 5 newly generated ELA tokens. Currently, the Elastos Foundation controls all 25 ELA mining nodes, and all the block rewards are being used for the ecosystem development. The Elastos main chain is using the same consensus algorithm as Bitcoin, and therefore has comparable transaction throughput. However, the block time for Elastos is only 2 minutes, and the block size is currently set to 8 megabytes. For those who don't know what merge mining is the process of allowing 2 different cryptocurrencies based on the same algorithm to be mined simultaneously. This allows low hash power cryptocurrencies to increase the hashing power behind their network by bootstrapping onto a more popular cryptocurrency, in this case, Bitcoin. So what's coming up in the future that we have to look forward to? The implementation of DPoS, there aren't a ton of details on that or a date for this, but it is on the horizon. Also, the added hashing power from Bitmain, there are talks that might be coming in December. Up next, the pros. The project is open source. This makes the development of dApps easier to bring about. The project has really strong partnerships and obviously a very large backing in the space. As I had mentioned before, Da Hongfei and Jihan Wu are people that are big names that are behind the project. The system creates financial opportunities for both the creators and the consumers, thus incentivizing more people to use Elastos. Being able to tokenize digital assets is a huge plus for me. Also, this falls under the prevention of plagiarism or theft. Being able to prove ownership and track the sale of something will allow for authentication. On to the cons. Really vast project with a lot of goals. They have a strong team helping them, but this is one of those enormous blockchain projects or 3.0 projects that's kind of promising to reinvent the wheel. Centralization is definitely a con. Right now, the Elastos team is in control of all the mining nodes. Although the co-founder Rong feels that Elastos doesn't have any direct competitors, I would have to say that Cardano would be a major competitor for me just because it's kind of touting the same blockchain 3.0 promise. Rong's thought process is that the majority of these projects or these 3.0 projects are trying to use blockchain to run their entire project, where Rong says Elastos is only trying to manage the trust of the blockchain, meaning he only wants to use blockchain tech for operations which require consensus. Rong says Elastos is trying to improve the current architecture of operating systems and the internet itself. Like most projects whose teams are filled with a bunch of intellects, there's always a concern that the project is kind of going to take longer than it may have because the academics move slower, or maybe, they kind of get in the way of each other. My final con would be the fact that the exchanges that it's on are not available in the US, and that's a big con for the majority of my viewers. Final thoughts. So Elastos is not just the new internet, but an entirely new smart economy, focusing on digital assets, monetizing computer power, incentivizing trading of digital assets, all combined with a very high-level security and the removal of a middleman. Elastos' main priorities are speed, security, and minimal cost for all users involved. Elastos promises a lot, and hopefully with their strong team and backing and their partnerships, they can pull all this off. It's definitely a project to keep your eye on, though. All right, guys, that's all I've got for today. I want to thank you as usual for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. This Friday, I will be on the Crypto Basic podcast for their flagship Friday edition. So if you haven't subscribed, you should listen to them too. And yeah, I'll see everyone soon.